The two prestigious institutions of biblical and archaeological studies of the Holy Land inaugurate the academic year in Jerusalem. Cataloging to Preserve and Learn, the conference and exhibition organized by the General Library of the Custody of the Holy Land and the Catholic University of Milan, a meeting of cultures. Cardinal Nichols, Archbishop of Westminster, visited the small Christian community in Gaza, a sign of hope and solidarity despite the difficulties. The story of Sally, young Iraqi, a refugee in Jordan, and the Rafidin project made by Iraqi girls. Washed by the Mediterranean Sea, the city of Haifa encloses natural beauty and a strong presence of the Marian spirituality. The biblical writings and the material traces of history have been fascinating researchers and scholars since antiquity. Over the centuries, studies on the Bible as well as archaeological research made it possible to understand civilization and Christianity in the past. The city of Capernaum, for example, the place of Jesus' public ministry in Galilee, was discovered thanks to the excavations carried out by the Custody of the Holy Land between the 19th and 20th century. In Israel and Palestine, there are two of the most prestigious academic institutions in the world in regards to the Bible and archaeology. They are the Studium Biblicum Franciscanum of the Custody of the Holy Land and the École Biblique, the French biblical and archaeological school of Jerusalem founded by the Dominicans.
What we provide is not only teaching, we teach certainly Old Testament, New Testament, hermeneutic, archaeology, languages and so on, but we try to put the student in the context of the country. Students go every week on the field, to study in Jerusalem, in Palestine, and sometimes in the neighboring countries, for example, Jordania, Turkey in the past, Sinai, to study the Bible in its context.
L'École Biblique e lo Studio Biblico sono...
The École Biblique and the Studium Biblicum Franciscanum are two of the three institutions using a diploma in the Holy Scriptures as well as a license and doctorate in biblical studies. Our institutions prepare teachers in Holy Scriptures for seminars and also, we hope, good preachers of the Word in churches and parishes.
Predicatori della parola di Dio nelle chiese e nelle parrocchie.
The two institutions jointly inaugurated the academic year on November 8.
Abbiamo deciso da qualche anno di fare insieme l'apertura
A
dell'anno.
few years ago, we decided to join forces for the opening of the academic year because we realized that we work on the same themes and content. This also helps improve the quality of our work.
È necessario unire le forze. Questo è un aiuto anche per migliorare la qualità del nostro lavoro.
The professor of patristic exegesis of the Studium Biblicum Franciscanum, Father Maurizio Jerome, spoke about the example of St. Paul's life. St. Paul became one of the greatest popularizers of Christianity of the first century. It was also an opportunity to pay tribute to Professor Emeritus Father Marcello Buscemi, who is leaving the Studium Biblicum Franciscanum after 37 years of teaching the Bible.
Quello che diceva San Gerolamo è vero, chi non conosce le scritture.
What St. Jerome said is true. Ignorance of Scripture is ignorance of Christ, and if you do not know Christ, you are not a Christian. St. Jerome gives us a very important tip. Reading the sacred Scriptures day by day is a necessity for Christians in order to learn more about Jesus Christ and about the way He showed us. That is the way of faith, to really be able to access salvation and reach God through it.
Salvezza, e attraverso la salvezza avere il contatto con Dio.
I believe the manuscript is a human culture. And even during this manuscript, you can know what's going on during the history. How's the people thinking? What's the culture of that time?
The Custody of the Holy Land opened its doors to literary intercultural dialogue on Wednesday, November 9 in the Holy City. The Custody of the Holy Land hosted a conference entitled Cataloging to Preserve and Learn an International Route Among the Ancient Books of Jerusalem, in which various Catholic, Jewish, Muslim, and Armenian personalities examined the topic.
Il convegno vuole valorizzare non solo il
The
patrimonio.
purpose of the conference is to enhance not only the book heritage of the Custody of the Holy Land in Jerusalem, but also other realities that coexist here with the vision of a specific comparison on the issue of conservation and improvement of the cultural heritage that makes this city unique.
Patrimonio culturale che rende unica questa città.
Our collection is almost like 1,000 years old. We have two libraries here. One library is of manuscripts, 4,000, and the other one is the Gulbenkian Library, about 120,000 books. As Armenian Patriarchate, we welcome this opportunity of meeting together and discussing about the future of preservation in Jerusalem.
Anytime there's an opportunity for different ethnicities, religions, cultural groups to get together around something shared is positive.
The conference was organized by the General Library of the Custody and the Catholic University of Milan with the support of Pro Terra Sancta Association. Among the dignitaries present, the Italian Consul General in Jerusalem, Fabio Skolovitz, and the Spanish Consul General Rafael Matos. Cataloging is not just a mechanical process, custodial vicar Father Dobromir Jaztal recalled during the initial greetings, but a road to knowledge. This is the principle that has guided the realities involved in a collaboration that goes on for years under the project Books, Bridges of Peace. One of the initiatives is the Ars Artificialiter Scribendi exhibition held for 3 days in the custodial curia. Through a selection of 26 books dating back to the 15th century, among 100 preserved in the Franciscan Library, visitors are taken on a journey to the origins of the printing press.
La mostra vuole essere un percorso appunto di valorizzazione sempre di questo
The
patrimonio.
purpose of the exhibition is the enhancement of this heritage and the commemoration of the history of this library, the history of the printing press, as well as the diffusion of the book, and also some curious episodes of how these books adventurously arrived in Jerusalem after having wandered through different countries of Europe and the
Dopo
world.
aver peregrinato in varie parti dell'Europa e del mondo.
The exhibition catalog is available on the library website. Looking forward to the final and complete listing planned for 2017 that will include all the works from the 15th and 16th century. A feeling of hope was perceived by the small Christian community of Gaza on Sunday, November 6, during the meeting with the Cardinal Nicholas, Archbishop of Westminster, a visit full of meaning to the Strip of Gaza to show some solidarity amid many difficulties.
To encourage, especially the Christian community who live here, encourage you in faith and in the good that you do to the wider society. And I'm very glad to represent many of the people who contribute through the Patriarchate, through Friends of the Holy Land, to try and bring practical support, because I know very much how frustrating it can be in the circumstances of Gaza, especially when you think of your longer-term future.
Today we have come from Jerusalem with Cardinal Nicholas to visit the church institutions in solidarity with Gaza and especially with the local church. Therefore, this is a solidarity visit to this wonderful youth to offer them a word of hope despite the cross. Hope to live in trust and love. This is not just a pastoral visit, but also a way to express solidarity to this small community living in this tormented strip. The visit culminated in the Mass at the Holy Family Parish, where the few Christians who live in this land were waiting for him. During the homily, the leader of the Catholic Church in England and Wales asked to pray to the Virgin Mary to guard and protect this Holy Family here in Gaza.
And the best thing that we have done today is to celebrate Mass together, because there we find the rock on which we try to stand, which is the rock of Jesus, the rock of our faith. And I receive, when I come here, great encouragement and admiration for the way that the Christian community lives here.
Today, His Eminence the Cardinal came to visit Gaza with Father Imad. We prayed together and it was beautiful.
A strip of land, the Gaza Strip, where the population remains helpless in front of so much rebuilding. A chance of rebirth is necessary and urgent in order to stop the flow of Christians, especially young people who emigrate in search of a better future.
I was here 2 years ago, which was not long after the end of the conflicts. And I think at the moment, at least, there is a bit more stability in the period, in the air. But I can still see the effects of that war are everywhere to be seen. And rebuilding is very slow. And I can only hope and press that the possibilities for rebuilding here are renewed. And I hope also that everybody with the influence can work towards a resolution of the situation of Gaza.
But deliver us from evil. The words to Our Father sung in Aramaic, the same language in which Jesus recited it the first time, filled the small room of a tailoring workshop in Amman, Jordan. A few sewing machines obtained from a former convent, typically Middle Eastern fabrics, and some Iraqi girls who share a story.
We came to Jordan because we received death threats. We had to emigrate because the situation had become impossible for us in Iraq as Christians.
Sally is one of the 500,000 Iraqis who fled their homeland in the summer of 2014 after the invasion of the self-styled Islamic State. Once fled from Kirkuk and landed in Jordan, she is facing a long wait, the often interminable wait that involves all the Iraqi refugees who are unable to work according to the Jordanian laws and who are seeking a visa that will allow them to emigrate. Then, 10 months ago, she came across Rafidin, made by Iraqi girls, a project led by the priest of the Latin Patriarchate, Mario Cornioli, and supported by Caritas and by the Franciscans.
We were 10 girls, then we started working and our number increased to 20. At the beginning, 2 people came to teach a 6-day sewing course. 4 months later, a few Italian ladies came to teach us new things. We learned how to sew and now we have plenty of work.
In October, the young seamstresses, who also share the Christian faith, received the visit of Cardinal Leonardo Sandri, prefect of the Congregation for the Oriental Churches and special envoy of Pope Francis. And in the dialogue with him, a rock emerged in the middle of the storm.
Those who left Nineveh and Mosul lost everything, their homes, their job. They lost their entire life in a single night, but they arose strong in faith, and that is everything for us.
It is true that they suffered a loss, but from a spiritual point of view, they did not lose God. They did not lose faith. And this is the power and wealth that we all humbly learn from them and that we seek to possess.
Impariamo da loro umilmente e cerchiamo di averla anche noi.
Sally and the other girls also gave the Cardinal a handmade chasuble sewn on Middle Eastern distinctive fabrics in harmony with the Rafidin style. All of them are on that chasuble, therefore they will concelebrate Mass with me every time I wear it. The beauty of this place is as intense as the colors of nature. Located to the north of Israel, the port city of Haifa offers an enchanting scenery. Haifa, built on Mount Carmel, located between the coast of the Mediterranean Sea and the valley of Jezreel. In several passages of the Bible, the mountain and its surroundings are cited for their beauty and fertility. The coast is one of the most popular places for entertainment for young and old. The favorable climatic conditions make it an ideal place for water sports. But the city, famous for its scenery and scientific centers of high technology, is also known for the stories of faith that took place here. Starting from the Old Testament, we in fact find stories of God's intervention in these areas. As recounted in the book of Kings, the prophet Elijah threw a challenge to the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel. Before two calves on two pyres, the one that would respond to the invocations of the prophets lighting the fire under one of the two animals would be recognized as the true God.
La sfida avviene nel luogo chiamato.
The challenge was launched at a place called Maraka, the place of sacrifice, 30 kilometers from Stella Maris. The 450 prophets of Baal were defeated by the fire that came from heaven when Elijah called upon God, so that he was able to prove to the people of Israel and to the enemies that the true God is the God of Israel.
Ai nemici che il vero Dio è il Dio di Israele.
The church on Mount Carmel was built on a cave where the prophet Elijah had spent the night. After a period of drought, Elijah prophesied torrential rain on the region and sent his servant to the sea so that he would anticipate the arrival of rain.
Per 7 volte lui chiede al suo.
He asked his assistant 7 times if the rain was imminent until the miracle of the rain came true.
Miracolo della pioggia.
The 7th time, the servant glimpsed a large cloud as the palm of a hand rising from the sea, and soon after that, the weather changed and it started raining. Haifa, cradle of Carmelite spirituality, where the title of Our Lady of Mount Carmel originated during the Crusader period.
Questi anacoreti che vivevano nelle grotte.
The hermits living in caves, there are many caves here, would gather on Sundays to celebrate Mass until with the passage of time they decided to live together and start a family, the Brother Hermits of Mount Carmel family, also called the Marian Brothers, because they were very devoted to Mary and learned the devotion to Our Lady. A devotion that continues today through the local Christians who venerate the Blessed Virgin Mary of Mount Carmel, the winner of battles.
Qua è il cuore di tutto l'ordine carmelitano.
This is the heart of the Carmelite order. When talking about Carmel, this place immediately comes to mind. This house brings a very special presence in its spirituality, the presence of Mary, our mother. It is also the place of the prophet Elijah, who is revered here as Saint Elijah.
Elia, che qua anche è onorato, detto Sant'Elia.
As the blue tones of the sky meet the colors of the sea, the incredible stories that took place here at Haifa come together in this enchanting scenery.
Haifa nella lingua locale è la sposa del mare.
Haifa in the local language is the bride of the sea. Mary is also called the star of the sea, Stella Maris. She is the queen of Carmel. She is the cloud that brings manna and dew, freshness to this land and to all the earth.
A questa terra, a tutta la terra.
The mission of the Christian Media Center is to bring the message of the Holy Land, the land of the fifth gospel, to the world. Broadcasts, reports, news, documentaries, the latest happenings in the church and of the daily life of Christians in the Holy Land. You can help us in this mission, raising awareness and spreading the message of the Holy Land. Help us. Visit our website,